Hello, my friends. Bienvenidos a este Week 4 check-in. Espero que estés muy bien el día de hoy. Vamos a estar hablando de los sworn affidavits. Vamos a estar hablando de la cover letter. And we also have a special guest speaker. Así que el día de hoy tenemos mucho to cover, but it's things that are very simple. Ya estamos en esas semanas que se van facilitando las cosas y que ya todos más o menos ya vamos entendiendo cómo es todo este proceso. So I'm super happy to see you. We're gonna jump right in, okay? I'm gonna be discussing a little bit about the sworn affidavits, and then I'm gonna bring in the guest speaker para que le vayamos pedaleando, okay? So en unos 15, 20 minutos voy a estar introducing our special guest speaker for today. Miro en los comentarios que están confundidos sobre el attendance sheet. Maggie, everyone else submitted just fine, but you can talk to me if something is going on and you cannot open your PDF, okay? All right, voy a compartir una slide. Okay, primer thing to cover today is sworn affidavit. Una de las cosas muy importantes que quiero mencionar el día de hoy es de que este no es un requisito, es una sugerencia. Esto no es un requisito que lo haya listed USCIS, pero sí nos piden explicar nuestro need for travel in one sheet of paper, right? La razón por la que se recomienda que hagamos una sworn affidavit es porque todo el proceso de Advance Parole, toda la aplicación, depende del officer si quiere aprobarlo o no, ¿verdad? Entonces, ¿tú qué piensas? ¿Que un sworn affidavit va a ayudar? Obviamente que va a ayudar, ¿verdad? Porque estás diciendo que estás diciendo la verdad. Entonces, esa es una de las razones por las que se recomienda. La segunda es porque no cuesta nada, no cuesta mucho hacer una notaria. O sea, es como like you go, they stamp it and that's it. It's quick. Normalmente cobran unos 10, quizás $20. Y hay lugares que lo hacen gratuito, como en los bancos. Check with your bank and you might be surprised and have access to free notary service. So it shouldn't be that expensive and it's just like an extra oomph for your application, okay? Si por algo tú decides, I don't want to notarize it, that's fine, but do not call it a sworn affidavit. You're going to call it a declaration statement, okay? So, sabemos que hay 3 razones para aplicar para Advance Parole: educativas, profesionales o humanitarias, ¿ok? Entonces, tu sworn affidavit debes de hacerlo de manera que hables sobre la evidencia que estás presentando al oficial y que hables sobre, déjenme lower down some volume right here. Ok, y sobre la evidencia que estás mandando y sobre las cositas, los detalles que no puedes tú demostrar con tus documentos, ¿verdad? Por ejemplo, uno de esos detalles que quiero mencionar es cuando las personas van a poner un birth certificate de su mamá y tiene un nombre diferente, un last name diferente, o, ¿verdad? Tiene una letra que está diferente. So those little small details, por ejemplo, mi mamá se llama María González y en mi birth certificate está con Z, en su birth certificate tiene un typo, but all her other, like whatever you want to explain, you can explain it. Pasa mucho eso con los birth certificates de los grandparents, porque antes como que hacían, no sé si no tenían backspace, ¿ok? Pero hacían muchos errores en esos tipos de documentos. And it hasn't been an issue, like people are able to explain the situation and they get it, they understand. So you can use a sworn affidavit for that, ¿ok? So no vamos a hablar sobre todas las cositas todas las cosas que debes de ponerle a tu sworn affidavit, because only you know your reason and you can explain it better than I could ever explain it. Pero dependiendo qué vas a hacer, si vas a hacer por razones humanitarias, por ejemplo, de ir a por dental, vas a explicar por qué eso, how is that going to change your life? How is that going to be, improve your life quality, and you're going to be able to stop missing so much from work, or things like that, right? Whatever you want to discuss there. Si, por ejemplo, vas a ir a ver a un familiar que está enfermo, entonces, oh, ya mira, sorry, yay. Si tú vas a ir a visitar a un familiar que está enfermo, puedes explicar, ¿verdad?, cómo esa persona tú la consideras una persona súper cercana a ti, una persona que aunque es tu abuelito, tú lo consideras como un segundo papá. O sea, las razones que tú piensas que son un close family member, un familiar muy cercano. Ellos no van a saber este tipo de cosas al menos que tú las expliques, right? Porque tú mandas documentación, pero hay detallitos que necesitamos explicar. So you can use your sworn affidavit for that. Entonces, quiero compartir aquí how you're going to access the template and how I suggest that you should edit, okay? I'm going to open the guide. So si quieren, váyanse a la guía and open the sworn affidavit button, okay? El botoncito. Okay, ya la encontré. Let me share my screen so that you guys can see what I'm doing over here. Window. Okay, estoy aquí en la guía. Ustedes ya saben cómo access the guide. You just have to obviously subscribe. Le vas a poner Advance Parole. You're gonna go to the botoncitos until you find this one. Donde dice Sworn Affidavit Template, okay? Give me 1 second. I want to just make sure that you're able to see my screen. Pongan los comentarios si no pueden ver mi screen, okay? Okay, creo que no lo pueden ver. Give me 1 second. Make sure that I'm... Okay, en este es el botoncito. Once you get to this one, you're going to click on it. Donde dice Sworn Affidavit. Okay, and it's going to take you directly into the... ¿Por qué it's not following me? Let me put it like that. Share screen. Okay, perfect. Yeah. Okay, so once you click on that botoncito, it's going to take you to a little sample. Es un sample sworn affidavit. Obviamente tú no vas a hacerlo igual que esto. Es nada más como para darte ideas de cómo deberías tú o qué deberías de estar poniendo en cada párrafo. Okay, so you're going to go through this and review each section y edítala a tu manera, ¿verdad? For example, the top part, I suggest that you talk about your name, you know, where you're from, and that you have DACA, right? For how many years you haven't gone to your country, okay. En la segunda parte, state your reason of like why you qualify for advance parole. Okay, you're applying for requesting advance humanitarian advance parole, and in your own words, you know, like start explaining what type of humanitarian parole you're requesting, like to visit the family member of a that is sick, or for my own dental procedures, you know, just a little bit of detail about that. Eso lo pongo arriba porque pues obviamente es lo primero que miran, so they want to know who, what, where, when, you know. De ahí cada uno de los párrafos que te tengo aquí have information, right? On the second one, I suggest that you include reasons that you're submitting those documents. So for example, like let's say you have documents that are going to prove that you're going to go for a conference because you're applying for professional reasons. Discuss the documents that you're sending, and if there's anything that you want to include about those documents, you can put it there, right? So what reasons you're presenting, discuss your supporting evidence, explain that your DACA is currently valid, o sea que tienes todavía tiempo de tu DACA. You know, you don't have an expired document, you're fine. You've been reviewing it in a timely manner, that you have you made all the necessary arrangements, or that you can make the necessary arrangements to leave on a certain date, things like that, ¿verdad? Whatever date that you're deciding that you're going to be going, okay? Tócales el violín, literal. En esta sección yo te recomiendo que puedas hablar acerca de what this means to you. How is this going to improve your quality of life, ya sea emotionally, physically, mentally? Why do you need to take this trip to visit this family member's grave? How that's going to give you closure, you know, like literalmente agarra el violín y empieza a tocarles el violín porque at the end of the day, they're human. Ellos son humanos. Y recuerda, ellos tienen el papel, el stamp ese que dice approve. So you want them to approve your case, ¿verdad? If you don't tell them, si no hablas, Dios no te escucha. Recuerda que hay que explicar todo lo que nosotros necesitemos decirles para que, pues, so that they have an idea. But keeping in mind que hay niveles, ¿verdad? You want to try to fit it all in one page. You don't want to write an essay for them. You don't want to write a newspaper. Quieres que lo lean. No todos los oficiales lo van a leer completo, pero, you have to write it as if they would. Some just glance at it. It just really depends on the officer. Pero it is in our best interest que pues les pongamos como si lo van a leer, que se lo van a leer todo y que, que tenga la información que queremos decirle. So those little details that we want to say to them, this is our only opportunity because remember, we're sending it by mail. So we don't know if they're going to read the entire thing word by word, but this is our only chance to talk about our case, to discuss it, to write a compelling letter explaining them what this means to us, what this Advance Parole document will help us with. Okay, so just go through this. It's going to be giving you ideas. En esta última, yo te sugiero, so por ejemplo, le puse, what are important details of your trip that the officer might need to know? Okay. If you, for example, are going to be going with your sister or your brother that also happens to have DACA, or your spouse, right? You want to let, obviously, vamos a hacer, tú vas a hacer esa aplicación separada, right? Tan juntos, pero no revueltos. You're going to each do your case, each have your payment, each, that's separate. But you want to go at the same time. So you can explain that the reason I chose these dates, so-and-so dates, is because I plan on going with, my sister because we're going to go visit my grandmother who really wishes to see us and we're going to support her, and explain why it's important for you to get those exact dates. Like those minor details that are not able to be explained on the at any point on the application, you can explain them here. This is your chance. So, por ejemplo, for safety concerns, you want to go at the same time as your sister because you're going to be taking care of each other's children to be able to help and assist this family member. Because, whatever reason, I don't know your reasons, your reasons. So make sure you explain those minor details that are very important and that you want the officer to know. Okay. And then the other thing that you want to put here, obviously, is that if they don't approve it, you're not going to exit. No vas a salir del país. Y yo, pues, obviamente aquí, you're going to be like finishing it off with them and explain the date that you want to leave. And then sign. If you're going to notarize, you can have a part written there for the notary. Esto es nada más un ejemplo, un sample. You can do it however. There's 1,000 ways to do a sworn affidavit. You just have to like write it. And if you're going to call it sworn affidavit here on top, then you have to notarize it. If for some reason you decide you're not going to be notarizing it, that's fine. Esta sección donde dice sworn affidavit se cambiara, fuera ahora declaration statement, or call it whatever thing you want to call it, but don't call it sworn affidavit, okay? Because it's not sworn, it's not notarized. You can also put a little section explaining, that this is that this has been notarized or anything like that, but this is the basic information that you would need. You just have to tailor it to yourself. Obviously, you're going to remove all the red letters and edit y todo. So just like any of the templates that I provide on the guide, you're going to copy this into your own document, copy and paste into your own document so that you can edit. Aquí no te puedo dar permission to edit, so don't request permission because pues I cannot allow it, okay? All right, I'm at 18 minutes. Perfect, yay. Okay, la otra cosa que te quiero decir sobre sworn affidavits, and we're going to answer questions about sworn affidavits at the end, okay? I just want to like throw this information at you for now. La otra cosa que te quiero decir es que te acabo de mandar un link en un 7-minute YouTube video. Si tú eres de esas personas that you just don't know where to start when you're writing something, I get you. Yo también a veces tengo como un brain freeze. Si tú no sabes por dónde empezar, te recomiendo 1000% que veas ese 7-minute video porque hablo acerca de utilizar artificial intelligence, which is ChatGPT. It's a free software that you can use. Cómo utilizarlo para build your own sworn affidavit. So that's like an option if you want to go that route. It helps you start. The one thing that I do want to mention about that, obviously, that it's not perfect. It is a robot, right? An artificial intelligent computer spitting out what they think should be a sworn affidavit. So in that video, I explain how I used it. And like I literally write a sworn affidavit with that help and demonstrate for you. So if you don't know where to start, I would recommend that you check out that video. Okay. Ahora, como ya les mencioné, al final vamos a estar teniendo preguntitas sobre lo del sworn affidavit, pero ahorita, without further ado, I do want to invite our special guest porque ya llegó, ya la miré, y vayan poniendo sus preguntitas para que las pueda yo ir leyendo, ¿verdad? Pero el día de hoy tenemos a Suri. Sorry, necesitaba clear my throat con cough. Let me clear my throat. Anyways, tengo a Suri, es una de mis personas favoritas en el mundo porque es bien chingona, es una persona que apoya mucho a nuestra comunidad, you know, like just sharing for information, sharing resources, responding to questions. She's in the group, super, super active, y es una de las personas que yo recomiendo sus traducciones porque yo las he revisado. He revisado muchísimas traducciones de Suri y siempre le echa muchas ganas. Y es, you know, like a person that I feel confident to tell you guys to do your translations with her because she provides really, really good quality services. So, el día de hoy, though, ella nos va a estar hablando acerca de su personal Advance Parole experience y quiero que pongan mucha atención porque sé que me han tenido preguntas acerca de los riesgos de hacer Advance Parole. Okay, so let me bring her up. Suri.
Hi, how are you? Hola a todos, ¿cómo están?
Hola, bienvenida. Y antes que empiece, Suri, quiero agarrar un mic check. Pónganme en los comentarios si se escucha Suri, si me escuchan a mí. No miro a nadie. Can someone tell me in the comments? Yes, I can hear. Para que le sigamos. Sí, perfect. Ok, entonces, Suri, gracias por venir el día de hoy. We're eager to hear your story because I know that you have one of those challenging Advance Parole journeys. So thank you so much for being here, Suri.
You know, it's a pleasure estar contigo all the time y ayudar as much as I can. So everyone, my name is Suri. Mi historia ha empezado desde el 1995. So let's start by steps. My parents, well, my mom, not my dad. My mom applied for asylum in 1995 because back in that time se le estaba dando Central Americans, but not Mexico. So my mom got confused. No fue con un abogado, so le mintieron, and that's how we ended up with a deportation order since 1995. I got married in 2010. 2012, I submitted my I-130. My I-130 was approved in 2012. 3 weeks after my approval, ICE came knocking on my door looking for my parents. They want my mom and my sisters where they live. Obviously, I did not give them that information. But I told them, give me the information you need and my mom and sister will go to you. And that's what happened. 2018, Trump became president. My whole family got deported. The ICE agent that came knocking on my door said, the reason we're not taking you is because you have DACA. The moment you don't have DACA, we'll come for you. So I always renew DACA before 120 to 150 days because I don't want ICE knocking on my door. I have 2 small children with special needs, so they need me all the time. 2020, Because of all that, the lawyers couldn't do anything to help my family. And that got me so angry because I had paid over $25,000 on lawyers to get me out of this deportation order I had. Nothing worked. Nothing. Money after money, paying fees for immigration, paying lawyers. Just on lawyers' fee was $25,000 or more, not including immigration fees. After my family got deported, I got involved in everything. I was reading on the USA website. Got involved in all these groups on Facebook to find more information. I have done more for myself than what a lawyer had done for me. In 2022, I applied for advance parole with an open deportation order because by that time it was already 5 years without me seeing my parents, my sister, my nephews. When my parents left, I was pregnant, barely 2 months pregnant with my second child. So by the time when we went to Mexico in 2022, it was the first time my parents hugging my baby. So that was very hard not having no one besides your husband and my other son. Even though I have my aunts, my tias, they all blame me for what happened to my family. So we don't have communication with them. They only call if they need something from me, and that's it. So I did advance parole by myself with no help. Even though my parents, my sister was there, they didn't help me. And they were afraid of me applying for advance parole because of the deportation order. But I was determined to go with them, to go see them without their help. So what I did, I applied for dental work. I did all my research. Google was my best friend at that moment. I Googled dentist office in Mexico City, anywhere in the state of Mexico. And I got in touch with one of them. And I went to the dentist here and I said, this is what I need. They gave me an x-ray, an estimate. I translated the documents. I called the doctor and I sent him screenshots on WhatsApp. And this is what I need. He gave me that estimate. And that's how I was able to apply for advance parole. Is sick. Knowing my mom is a cancer survivor. So she had all the possibility to go to the doctor and say, I need a doctor's letter explaining this. But she didn't do that because she was afraid. I sent the money to my sister to go to the dentist. I said, tell him, please give me this estimate. Oh yeah, I'll get to it. It never got done. So I had to do it. So that's what's going on. I sent my application February 9th of 2022. By that time, it was the 9 months waiting period. That was the law. But luckily, I was approved May 10th, before the 9 months. So we left to Mexico with my husband and my kids and my niece on July 11th. We were supposed to go for a month, but my husband got sick, so we came back 2 weeks early. So that was the time, I saw my family, came back with a deportation order. Back then, you had to show the COVID card. So I have my passport, my AP, my COVID card, and my DACA, my EAD card, because it was requested. So those 4 documents, I handed to them. Went to the second inspection, un cuartito, and I was there como 5-10 minutos, no questions asked. All this is, welcome back. That was it. When I came back, I was like, I need to get rid of the deportation order. For that, I can't represent myself in court because I was going to go in front of the judge. And I was like, let me hire another lawyer. Fine. I went and hired the lawyer. Cost me almost $3,000 just for that. And I told her, listen, I did advance parole. I have my legal entry. I have this deportation order. I have my I-130 approved. All I need you to do is a motion to reopen my case. And that's exactly what she did. A motion to reopen the case. The new evidence is that I had a 130 approved. The second evidence, I had a legal entry. The minute I left to Mexico, I executed the deportation order was given to me because I left the country. With that deportation order, I left. But when I came back, I got a legal entry because I had advance parole. On November 9th, 2023, my deportation order was dismissed completely. It's gone. After 28 years, with a deportation order, it's gone. It's gone. It's done. Now I could do my adjustment of status. And by February 15th, my documents will be sent out because on Friday I'm going for my medical exam. So this journey will end soon.
Long. Mm-hmm.
So
So now you can breathe. That deportation order is gone. Y ya nada más esperar ese adjustment of status to be approved because it will be approved.
Con la ayuda de Dios, yes, it'll be approved.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm here to answer any of your questions, any doubts. I'm here.
So before we go through questions, if there's questions, please post them on the chat, guys. I just want to say thank you so much, Suri, on behalf of everybody, for you to share your story. Because I think not only does it prove that cuando se quiere se puede, como dijo el César en los comentarios. If you like, you could have just said like, no, pues nadie me ayuda. Así me dicen todos, es que no me quiere ayudar mi familia, nadie me ayuda, nadie me hace caso, papá. Cuando se quiere se puede. Y muchas veces sus razones tienen, en tu caso, tus familiares, they just wanted to protect you, right? Like your mom just was like, ¿pa qué le buscas, right? Pero tú sabías, tú has hecho tu research, tú sabes que no va a haber problema. Por el lado de la deportación no ha habido problemas por ahí, entonces you were willing to just like do it, especially because it was going to give you that legal entry that you so desperately needed, because in order to adjust a un esposo ciudadano, ya sea un hijo que tiene más de 21 que sea ciudadano o un parent que sea ciudadano que te peticione, se necesita tener una entrada legal si es que quieres hacerlo dentro de los Estados Unidos, ¿verdad? Otherwise, it can get very tricky, very lengthy y dangerous to do consular process. Entonces, muy valiente la Suri.
Thank you. You know, the funny part is, mi mamá no creía, no confiaba, pero yo estaba con esa seguridad. Y me dice, when I was telling them goodbye before leaving to come back, she's like, mija, si te deportan, aquí está tu casa, aquí tienes todo. And I'm like, mami, yo voy a entrar, nada me va a pasar, yo estoy segura. Cuando yo ya salí del aeropuerto, ya le llamé, ya estoy en Florida, estoy en Orlando, todo salió bien. Y no lo podían creer, porque la determinación mía era tan fuerte que nada me iba a parar. No tenía miedo, no, si me quedaba, si venía, yo estaba al 100% que yo venía. Y aquí estoy.
Yeah. And one of the main reasons that I love sharing Azuri with you guys is because she's literally the example. Como hay otra gente que tiene un caso bien fácil, Suri. Si vieras la gente que tiene, la tienen hecha y como quiera tienen miedo. And I wish I could shake them y agarrar los del pescuezo, pero no puedo. Entonces, the next best thing to do is to show you guys a very difficult case. Because hopefully yo soy like, no, pues si a Suri la dejaron entrar a mí con más ganas.
Yeah.
So definitely talk to your parents, guys. Miro que hay personas que a veces tienen parents que los convencen que no lo hagas, ¿para qué? Y esto. Let them know that there is benefits, especially if we don't have a legal entry, guys.
Yeah, and don't be afraid. You have a deportation order. Go and come back and then fight for the motion to reopen. Fight it. And the judge didn't even want to see me. She dismissed the case. Dismiss it. And I have the letter from the court that is dismissed. With that letter, I could do my Yasmin status by myself, because that was another issue because of the deportation. Another is dismissed. All I have to show is proof that it's gone. I don't have it. So You can do it, guys. Don't be afraid. I know it's scary, but scared of what? Like Julieta said, you guys, some cases are so easy, so easy. Mine was so complicated, but finally I can breathe. I can do it after 28 years. That deportation is gone. And it's the most amazing feeling that I can do adjustment of status, that I don't have nothing to hold me back. If something hold me back, it'd be myself. But nothing to do with lawyers, with
Not today,
immigration.
Junior. You're
Not
determined.
today.
That's awesome. Mira unas preguntas. César, esa pregunta, there's way more questions about that. I'm not able to answer that without asking you a lot. Pero si quieres, mándame un mensajito, because I would need to know what are your parents on, what type of status and stuff like that. Si quieres, te mando resources over that information. Ok, ¿alguna preguntita para Suri o sobre su journey, sobre su caso, cómo le hizo para conseguir su evidencia? Si tienen preguntas, hablen ahora o callen para siempre porque la tenemos ahorita aquí enfrente, en vivo y en caliente. Ok. All right. Bueno, entonces no miro preguntitas, pero sí miro muchos thank you, I love your story, I love Suri, your story, thank you. So, yeah, we're definitely super grateful to hear you. Y Suri, déjame platicarte que ha sido uno de mis, I know I shouldn't have favorites. This is like literally one of my favorite boot camps. Like la gente de este bootcamp está muy engaged.
That's
Y como
great.
ahorita que somos 30 en vivo, you know, it's a very specific day, Mondays at 8 p.m. y todos han sido así de que 30, 50. So I'm really proud of this group. This one has been one of my favorite groups.
And you know, I always say I'm very thankful for you, for everything you have done, not only for your group on Facebook, but for the Advance Parole Bootcamp, because a lot of people are afraid to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And you need that push someone to, okay, here you go, accountability. You're like, okay, you know, you need this, you need that, and you have meetings, you have StreamYards every week for the people to join. So there's nothing that should be holding them back at all. And you know, not only here on Facebook what you have done, but also in Texas, all the work you have done there too. You know, yo siempre te digo, tú eres chingona. En verdad, because
thanks, sis.
si tuviera un Oscar ya te lo daría.
Igual te lo regreso because you are a really chingona person. Thank you so much, Siri. But yeah, like literalmente la gente del bootcamp literally has no excuses, okay? Like los agarramos de la oreja y los llevamos a la finish line. So as long as you guys keep up, really there's nothing that should be stopping you guys. Y yo sé que a veces el fear, it's valid, pero hay que ver también los facts. And fact is that someone like Suri was able to go and come back, and not only did it not hurt her or you know became like a horrible experience, but it actually benefited for her in her case. And pues now you're hearing it. Okay, so mira, aquí hay una preguntita. Okay. Ninguna pregunta. Okay, aquí dice my question is when we do come back, what exactly do we do, like at the frontera? I might go in the car or in a bus. My family's right there in Matamoros, Tamaulipas. Ay, Alma, vives aquí cerquita de mí. What do the guards do besides stamp? They might ask you questions. Suri vino por avión, ¿verdad? Sí. Yo sí pasé por la frontera, igual. I mean, yo venía caminando, entré al CBP office y me mandaron a un cuartito a esperar, ¿verdad? Cuando estaba en el cuartito, era un cuartillo grande, esperando, vinieron y me pidieron los documentos, me agarraron mis huellas, me tomaron mi foto, me hicieron preguntas, las preguntas que ya les he compartido muchas veces sobre, you know, like cuántos días estuve fuera, cuál fue mi razón de viajar, cositas así muy simples. ¿Y a ti qué preguntas te hicieron, Suri?
None.
Welcome.
That's it. That's all what they said. Welcome. And the funny part is my husband, my kids are U.S. citizens. Okay, they have the U.S. citizen line, the visitors, the green card holders. I went through the U.S. citizen line because of my children. My little boy, It was the funniest part. They took my fingerprints. For them, it's just the passport. And they took my picture. And he was like, me, me, me. He was telling that he wanted a picture. And he wanted his fingerprints been taken too.
Oh. Esa es otra pregunta que hace la gente. Can I go with my kids that are sitting? Yes, you can. Yes,
Yeah,
of course.
you can. Take them. Let them enjoy it.
All right. Has there been anyone who has been denied entry? There has been people that have not been able to be paroled back in, but there's always a reason why. Usually what happens is that they come back after their expiration date. And when that has happened, it's because they were not informed, but that's not going to happen to you because you're in the boot camp and you always get reminded that there's a freaking expiration date and you have to respect it. Las personas que hicieron eso como quiera were allowed to come in eventually through hiring a lawyer, a lot of money, a lot of stress. So do not do that. Do not let it expire. Pero ha pasado eso. ¿Okay? Obviamente, si tienes un récord criminal que esté undisclosed, que no habrás compartido a USCIS al momento que aplicaste o que renovaste, that's an issue, right? Because you're fraudulent. You're committing fraud by applying with lies because it clearly asks, do you have any type of criminal record? And if you do, you have to disclose it. If you don't disclose it, then of course, if you do advance parole, it could come up when you're doing advance parole or getting paroled back in. Okay.
Perla, yes, you go. Your I-130 can be approved with a deportation order. A few people I know that they're approved with a deportation order. That was my case. Yes.
Mira, gracias, Suri, me diste muchas esperanzas. Love that. My mother-in-law's names as my husband's birth certificate is missing in one of the last names, but the doctor note has both names. That is normal, or should I explain it?
When you in your affidavit or the letter declaration, you could explain that briefly. But it should not be an issue at all.
Mm-hmm. I would say just explain it like in one sentence. No pierdes nada. Y you could save yourself an RFE if anything, but it shouldn't be an issue. Esta dice, Cindy dice, answer my question, please, pero yo no miro ninguna. Oh, ok, hasta arriba. Ok, esa pregunta no, literal, no sé cómo si es de Suri, pero dice, estoy con la table de content y dice que tengo que mandar copy the Department of it's expired. I have an appointment to renew, pero no hay soon. Okay. Well, if you don't have an unexpired one, I think it's fine to submit that, like the expired one, because you're also submitting your DACA, and your DACA is still active, right? Obviously, if they're both expired, you need to wait and get that renewal first. Okay, bueno. What it is a FOIA recommended when doing advance parole. If you want to do your FOIA, there's no harm done. Like you can definitely request it. Obviously, not necessary time, right? Like as you have to wait until it comes back and stuff. But you can definitely do it. It's not a requirement. Pero para cualquier otro, como por ejemplo, if you're ever planning to do adjustment of status, y alguien te puede peticionar, of course, you would first start with your FOIA.
Yes. Yeah. Your FOIA is always, it's important because it's what immigration has of you, and you need that in case you don't remember, but it's there. So when you file an application, okay, this is, what happened. Don't be surprised after the interview. Oh, but this is this and this and that. But I thought I had it clear, but because you didn't request your FOIA.
Yes, your DACA's good. Okay, cool. Okay. Bueno, entonces, si no hay otras preguntitas específicas para Suri, la vamos a dejar ir. Yo sé que she has a lot going on. She has her hands full. Y aún así, ella toma tiempo de responder preguntitas. Ustedes cuando salgan del bootcamp y hay una preguntita en el grupo que saben, please respond it. Si Suri tiene tiempo, tú también tienes tiempo. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Suri. I really do appreciate your time. And yo sé que time is the most valuable thing we have. So yo te agradezco bastante que hayas venido el día de hoy, okay?
Well, thank you por tenerme aquí. Fue un placer estar con ustedes. Bye, chicos.
Bye. Ok, bueno, entonces, thank you guys por a escuchar esa historia. Quería compartirla el día de hoy porque sé que es muy importante para esas personas que tienen mucho miedo. Le continuamos porque todavía nos faltan dos cositas to cover today. Vamos a hacer la cover letter. So, I'm gonna jump in. We're gonna jump right into it. Okay, present, share screen. Let me... Ahí está. Se me movieron todas mis tuerquitas aquí. Es que con todos estos botoncitos parece uno DJ. All right. Okay, share screen. All right. Entonces, vamos a regresar a... Well, actually, let's talk about the assignments for this week before we talk about the cover letter. En esta semana, obviamente, el primer día ya estás aquí, estás acudiendo a la checking, okay? That's your first day, of course. The next two following days, the first one, you're going to edit your cover letter and fix anything that needs to be edited, and you're going to start working on your sworn affidavit. Recuerden que ya platicamos sobre sworn affidavit. You also got some information during the workshop that you already watched. And then third, I also sent you that, si necesitas más, te mandé ese link con el video explicando cómo puedes hacer sworn affidavit con la ayuda de ChatGPT, okay? So it's a really good tool. I hope that you guys use it. It's free. There's no harm, okay? Y el día número 3, you're going to finalize your sworn affidavit. You're going to complete it. Y obviously log your attendance, okay? So that's what's going to be going on this week for the assignment. So that's what we're going to be talking about your cover letter right now, because I want just to go over it since you're going to be doing it this week, okay? Make sure you get it done this week para que no se te junte la semana que viene que vamos a estar trabajando en las forms. And obviously, of course, you're going to log your attendance. Ahí está el botoncito morado y en la derecha el botoncito rojo. Si todavía no tienes tus translations, obviously this is a freaking sign that you're taking too damn long. So if you don't have the time, figure it out how to make time to do them if you're already behind that, or submit them and just wait for them to get the translation service done instead of doing them. Whatever it's best for you, you got to decide and you got to do it porque the weeks are moving along. And you need to catch up, okay? No dejen que se les junte el trabajo, okay? Ahora sí, vamos a hablar acerca de la sworn affidavit, la cover letter. La guía que siempre utilizamos. You're gonna click the botoncito donde dice cover letter, okay? Vamos a hablar de la cover letter. La cover letter tampoco es algo que es un requisito. Es algo nada más que it just makes sense to make one, right? Una cover letter te ayuda a poner todo en orden, te va a ayudar a asegurarte de que no te falta nada, ¿verdad? De que you're meeting every little criteria that you need to meet during your application process. It's going to help you keep it in order, and it's also going to make your case look nice and professional. It's like, you're going to turn in your assignment to your teacher. It's a USCIS officer, and the USCIS officer is going to review the document. It's going to see the cover letter, and they can literally take a glance at the cover letter and know what the case is about just by staring at your cover letter. That's not needed, so they're gonna set it aside, and then they're gonna go through your case, and you're already starting on a good note, right? Because it looks organized, okay? So obviamente es una ventaja tener una cover letter, pero no es un requisito. So the one thing I want to go over right now, let me see if I can bring it up a little bit more. Control. ¿Cómo le hago para zoom in? Okay, so once you open that file, of course, you're going to copy and paste just like any other documents, and we're going to go over it, okay? La cover letter es muy fácil. Aquí arribita es un ejemplo. Le pones Lo voy a poner en rojo. You're going to edit everything that is in red because obviously that's what pertains to you. So le pones qualifying reason, humanitarian advance parole for whatever, or professional humanitarian parole for whatever. Just like at first glance, they're going to see this and they're going to know exactly what this package is about. Hi, my name is first name and last name. You're going to edit that. I'm a DACA recipient. I'm applying for humanitarian reasons to work for whatever. Like, por ejemplo, if you're doing professional reasons, okay? Or humanitarian reasons to visit my humanitarian advance parole to travel outside the United States to see my sick mother and explain, briefly. Okay, that's just the top. Then we're going to go into the main sauce of the cover letter. Yo lo dividí, pero obviamente tú no tienes que dividir si no quieres. Yo le pongo application forms, identification documents, and then supporting documents. That's usually how I do my cover letters. I just put them in sections, but you can do whatever you want, okay? Las formas that we're going to be discussing next week are these, the ones that are on the top. So on the cover letter, you're going to say, okay, this is the application. Form I-131, application for travel document. Form number 2, the electronic notification, which is the G1145. And then form number 3, the G1450, if you're going to pay with a credit card or a debit card. Guys, les voy a decir otra vez for the last time. I prefer to pay with a money order because I've just seen less tragedias happen, but it is your decision. So if you're not going to do the form, just put here instead of the form, just put money order for $575, okay? Your choice. Just edit this accordingly. Y luego el sworn affidavit, which be your purpose of travel. Como ya les mencioné hace ratito, if you're not going to do a notarized document, ahí le cambiaras. Ahí en vez de sworn affidavit dijera declaration statement, ¿verdad? And then you would remove this, and then that would be your cover letter, ¿verdad? La información diferente. But because we are doing a sworn affidavit, we would leave it like that. So just you decide. Edit everything a tu manera. Aquí eso nomás es un ejemplo. Tú lo vas a editar como tú quieres. Make all the necessary changes. The identification documents son los documentos que te identifican a ti como persona. Okay? Yes, you're going to need 2 passport photos. Alguien preguntó el día de hoy, have you not watched the workshop, mana? Por favor, Alma, por favor. Okay, la número 2. Copies of your current employment authorization card, driver's license, and social security card. Una copia. Siempre vas a hacer copias. Current passport. Pregunta que muchos hacen. ¿Qué tal si no tengo mi passport right now? You're going to need it. So make sure that you go to your consulate and you get an appointment to get your passport done, okay? But for this purpose of the application, if you don't have it, you would just remove this so that you can apply, because the applications, the advance parole, they take about 5 months. So by the time you have it, you're going to have by the time you get approved, you're going to have your passport done. So no te preocupes por eso. This one is an optional one. So if you want to remove it, that's okay. Copy of the I-7 notice of approval for your last DACA. Okay, if you don't have your last DACA renewals approval notice, that's fine. You can remove it. But if you don't have it, add it. Okay, because it is stated on the requirements, but I know that USCIS sometimes just doesn't send it or still doesn't upload it into our account. So if you don't have it, that's fine. You just remove it. And they get approved anyway. A lot of people don't have it for some reason. Okay. Supporting documents. Aquí vas a poner tú los documentos que tú has colectado. Pero primero yo te recomiendo que pongas el translation certification statement, and then whatever documents you have, you can list them. Por ejemplo, the translated document and then the original, or the original and then the translation, whatever you want, but just put them in the same order for all of them. So as here, I'm explaining, Exhibit 2, a copy of the applicant's birth certificate, my birth certificate with a certified English translation. Okay, so la traducción y luego el certificate statement. So Esa más o menos es la orden. Si quieres incluir todos en uno, sí se puede, pero si hay unos officers that will send an RFE because they don't notice that that one document has all of them listed. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. So another way to avoid that is putting everything, like por ejemplo, putting the translation and the original, and then putting the exhibit, right? Every single time, every single time. Y así, like, y luego el otro, y luego la translation. Okay, y luego el otro, y luego la translation. So, in the translation certification statement. So having one for each one of the translated documents that you're going to be submitting. So that's another way to do it. Whatever they, which way you choose, it's up to you. It is just a good idea to keep them in order and always have your translations certified. Y aquí pusieras, vea, todos los documentos, yo no sé cuántas evidencias tú tienes, only you would know that, but you can just add them here. Your supporting evidence, por ejemplo, como si vas a incluir la constancia médica, pues you would put it down. The birth certificates, or if you're doing professional reason, you would put, oh, here are the emails that my boss sent me, here's the conference that I'm attending, if you're doing a study abroad for educational purposes, here is the, ¿cómo le llaman? Ya ni me acuerdo, ya tiene mucho que salí de la, de la escuela. When you do study abroad, the class, I don't know, like the course subject, the materials or the fees or whatever it is that they provide you at the university. I cannot think of the name, pero yes, the course details, okay? So whatever it is that you need, that you're submitting as a supporting evidence in order to get granted, then you would put it here, but under supporting evidence, under exhibits, whatever you can come up with. Let me go ahead and zoom out so you guys can see the whole thing. Obviously, you're gonna remove every single red thing here, cada cosita roja aquí. You're gonna remove it and you're gonna edit the entire document for yourself to include your information, okay? Whatever you're gonna be submitting to them. Okay. See. Okay, perfect. Let me see if there's questions. For the copy of the passport, would it just be the first page? Yes, the one that has your photo, your name, and your date of birth. You cannot log your attendance for what date? Was it for this week? Because this one should be opened. The last week, week 3, is closed because it's closed. You had a whole week, pero for this one, it should be open. No sé por qué no. But I can figure it out once. I mean, you guys shouldn't be logging in your attendance for this week anyway, porque you're here at the on day 1, but you haven't done the other stuff. Unless you already did it, but otherwise, you still have day 2 and day 3 to complete before you have before you submit your attendance. Porque remember, you submit your attendance for accountability after you finish the assignments. Okay. How do you get translation certified? Lamantas, I'm getting a feeling you did not watch the workshop, okay? Una translation certification statement is literally just the translator person or yourself, whoever, stating that those were translated correctly, okay? It's on the workshop, so go over that section, okay? That you have a template también on the guide. It's a free template. You can use that. Remember last week, we also went over the translation certification statement. So if you didn't watch it on the workshop, you should have watched it on the last week. So I'm getting weird vibes right here. No sé si no andas atendiendo a clase. Syllabus, ándale. Thank you, Fernando. Yes, that's the word. Syllabus was the word that I was looking. So for example, if you're doing study abroad, and that's your educational purpose to apply for advance parole, you can submit a copy of the syllabus. And that's enough evidence to submit to say, hey, I need to go to this course, okay? I'm just waiting for my DACA renewal to come in now. Yes, Jessica, te mando buenas vibras para que te llegue pronto esa renovación. Okay, thank you. Sale, vale. Okay. All right. Entonces, eso es lo que les quería yo decir sobre la cover letter, because you are going to be working on that. Esto es easy breezy, guys. La zona affidavit nomás de que la empieces. Okay. El cover letter literalmente ya está hecha, ya nada más tú le pones tu información. It should be fairly simple for you guys to do that, okay? Voy a, ahora sí, jump into the last topic that we're going to cover today. ¿Cómo estoy en mi tiempo? ¡Híjole! Okay, we're getting a lot done today, y'all. This one's a loaded week, but it's an easy one, you know? Esas cositas que son, you know, seems like a lot, but it's not. That's this week. We're covering a lot. You're getting the information, pero no son cosas difíciles. You're going to see when you're doing it. They're not that hard. Ooh, and then also on week 3, in los otros bootcamps, when we get to this, the no questions, it's usually week 4 or week 5. Les digo que ustedes son mis favoritos. No tengo que tener favoritos, but look at all this shit. I love it. Okay, so las personas que están llegando a los check-ins y que están haciendo su attendance, miren. No preguntas, todo claro hasta ahora. Muchas gracias. No questions at this moment. Estamos en week 3. No, este es week 4. We're going on week 4. And this is the attendance for week 3. No questions. Okay, tengo una aquí. Okay, dice, let me go ahead and zoom in. A ver si esto. I don't think I can zoom in more than that, can I? No me deja hacer zoom in more. Okay. Dice, 2 de las actas que necesito traducir son las viejitas. ¿Cómo puedo saber si la persona del link les podrá traducir? Si pueden traducirlas. Y si por algo no pueden, they can contact you. Y si te tienen que dar dinero de regreso porque no pueden traducirlas porque estén muy blurry or whatever, they will give it to you guys. That's why it's my gente de confianza. I really trust them to do always the more ethical translation and more ethical service than anywhere that you can go, like on the online with like people that I don't know, pues I can't trust that they're gonna respect your privacy and your documents. Ellas sí, because they're in there because they want to do the best for the community. So I know that it's a service that they provide. It's their time, and they do charge los $30 por cada página de documento, pero they're always going to do the ethical thing, okay? That's why they're my homies. Puedo traducir cualquier tipo de acta de nacimiento. Okay, hay unas actas que sí están muy borrosas o que están viejitas. Ellas sí las traducen. Son mucho más largas. Okay, so sí están bien largas. A veces cuando son las de página que está así de larga, sí tiene un costo extra y they'll communicate with you about that. Hay veces que son muy blurry and they cannot see it, so they'll let you know and get back to you. So, but you can, like, si esa es la certificado de nacimiento que tienen las personas, that's fine. That's your evidence. They don't have to go get the new one. If they want to, they could, because it'll be easier for you to translate them if they want to get the newer version. But if you don't have the other one, that's fine. You can use the older one. Okay. Everyone else is no questions. Yay, we got to that week on week 3. Awesome. Okay. I think I've been logging my attendance on the wrong one. I put my week 3 to week 2. I've been working ahead. Bueno, pues por lo menos estás counted on attendance and you're present. So that's good. You're ahead of the game, Perla. Ok. Bueno, entonces no hay preguntas en la attendance. ¿Alguna otra pregunta que tengan ustedes, los que están aquí en el chat? Pónganmelo. Y we can knock those out if you guys have any pending questions, okay? Other than that is, I know it was a loaded week, but I'm sure that it's going to be easy enough for you guys to get all these things done. Si todavía estás pendiente con tu evidencia, ya, pícale manita, pícale manito. Necesitas agarrar esa evidencia porque, pues, if not, really, you don't have a case. If you don't have the evidence, you don't have the case. So make sure you get that in, okay? Everything else can be figured out, but the evidence, you need it. Ok, no miro preguntitas, así que, pues, I'm happy. If you guys don't have questions, I'm super happy. El día de mañana va a ser el día de esta semana para textear. So I'll be turning on my phone tomorrow. My other tengo dos phones, parezco narca. My Spanglish Girl phone para que si tienen preguntitas, mándenmelas por el mensaje en el WhatsApp. Ya saben cómo lo han estado haciendo estas semanas. Y va a ser todo el día de mañana, ¿ok? Todo el día de mañana. Let's say my DACA doesn't come in by the end of February. Will the dates of all the documents expire? Okay, so como les platiqué en el workshop y también en la the second week when we were discussing evidence, you do need recent evidence, okay? Especialmente si es evidencia como, por ejemplo, que vas a ir a visitar a un familiar que está enfermo. Obviamente, by the time the officer gets that package, it's going to be 5 more months. So do not send evidence that it's, like super old, like 5 and a year old, because by the time they get it, it's been such a long time, right? The best thing is to have evidence the more recent you can. A month is good, 2 months is good, 3 months is good. For you guys, if you got it at the beginning of the workshop, your evidence is going to be a month or maybe 2 if you take a little bit longer than a workshop to finish. I mean, to the boot camp to finish. So just the more recent you can do it, the better. I've seen people get approved for evidence that is like 4 months old. So, it's one of those things that it's up to the discretion of the officer if they're going to submit a request for evidence because your evidence is too old. But you're going to put yourself in the best position. So 1 month is fine, 2 months is fine, 3 is kind of like, but it's still fine. Okay. Alrighty. Muchas gracias. Thank you for the info and the regaños. Sale irse. Ay, pues si te gusta que te jale las orejas, ya sabes, mana. No preguntas. Gracias. Yeah. I know, guys. Ustedes son. I keep saying this, but it's because the other bootcamps había como unos que estaban bien hacia al pedo, but then everybody else was always like not logging their attendance or shit like that, and I was like, ugh. I loved the ones that were engaged, but then the other ones, like you could tell that they were not keeping up. So you guys are the first one que, como por ejemplo, as Monday is nuestro check-in, and you guys are actually watching it live, not like later. Which, I mean, se entiende, ¿verdad? But it's still like it shows the engagement, and I'm excited. I'm excited with you guys. All right, me gusta la acta viejita. México porque shows the grandparents' name y la nueva solo los nombres de tu papás. You see, that's a good reason to have it. I agree. Yeah. I mean, the translation document, no te entiendo. No, the translations don't really expire unless the notary that you notarize, like if they put their expiration date, then technically it could, because their notary expires, but technically they did it the date that you signed. They testified that it's correct. And so as long as you do it within those 2 years or whatever years that it takes for them, you should be okay with that. Okay. Pero pues you're not going to take that long on yours, are you? Lady Sabrina's están en el workshop. It's surprising funny. Yes. Sí, a lo mejor ella no está en el bootcamp porque como los dejo públicos para que otras personas, even if they weren't able to join the bootcamp, they could still, watch the information. A lo mejor no sabe, pero sí, esto es parte del bootcamp y tengo la guía gratis y también el bootcamp, pero también tenemos un Advance Parole workshop si quieres verlo tú, Lady. Agrégate al grupito Spanglish Dreamers en el Facebook para más información, ¿ok? All right, la semana que viene, aquí va. Next week number 5, vamos a estar haciendo un check-in para discuss all the forms. And we're not going to go over every question. We're just going to go over the sections that I know are problematic for some people. And I'm going to be responding to your questions. If you have any questions, you're going to put them in the chat and we're going to be like diving deep into that section if someone in the group puts anything on the chat. So we're going to be discussing form by form. And no, but No te entiendo, Jessica, mándame un chat mañana, no te entiendo. Ok, ya pendejé mucho con tu pregunta, perdóname. Al chile que no te entiendo entonces. Okay, so yes, next week, if you guys have any questions on forms, send them to me también mañana so that we can prepare that and discuss the information. But I kind of have already identified the sections that people have problems with, so we're going to be going over that. Esta semana tu enfoque es esto, ¿verdad? Obviamente, lo que ya discutimos el día de hoy, la SORNA affidavit, la cover letter, work on that. Next week, we're going to be discussing the forms, which is the only part that an attorney can help you with. They're not going to go look for the evidence for you or checar abajo del colchón a buscarte tu birth certificate. They're not going to do that. The only part that they're going to help you with is what we're going to be discussing next week. Okay? Bueno, bye everybody, nos vemos y mañana si tienen una preguntita, mándenme texto, ya saben. Bye.